Share this to the news. Don't forget our audio. There it is. Hi, everybody. Kevin Harnett with you. If you have the Wave 3 News weather app, you probably just saw that push alert that came out saying, hey, we're on discussing the winter weather potential that will be rolling our way for the upcoming weekend. We've got a lot of data to share with you, and that's what we'll be talking about over the next 10, 15, 20 minutes here. We are on Facebook Live as well, so we'll be taking some of those questions as we get a little bit later into our presentation because we have some graphics here. So here's the deal. The Google Hangouts are awesome. We've invited our entire staff of meteorologists to join in, but of course, Brian and Tawana and Lauren are all fast asleep because, well, they get in here around 2 a.m. So that's about what time we go to bed, isn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, that's the life of a morning meteorologist in this town. You got to get up early.
Hey, so Ryan and I are here. Justin Logan may pop in. Andy Weingart, I'm not sure he knows how to jump on a Google Hangout, but we'll see. And then we've also invited our partners over at the National Weather Service. But, hey, they're on furlough. They're working hard. They're just not getting paid. Let me first of all say that as we begin this, we appreciate their work, especially with the impending storm. I know it's a tough time for those folks. They do a terrific job, and we consider them partners in everything we do in relation to weather. All right, so let's jump into it. Ryan, we're going to talk about the graphics. We'll walk people through the forecast here. We are still, and I'll mention, getting new data in now, and additional sets of data will be rolling in through the balance of the overnight. And that will mean updated forecast all night long and again throughout the day tomorrow. We have the alert days in place, and this is for Saturday and Sunday. So today, the change in the alert day status, it went to Sunday, and we added that because there's going to be really two waves of snow pushed through. One Saturday and another one late Saturday, early Sunday. Could foul up traffic just a bit, and big church day we wanted people to know.
That's right, Kevin. Right now, we're not seeing any snow on the radar here in Wave Country. Did have a few flurries this morning. We actually picked up a trace of snow officially in Louisville. Kind of unexpected, to be honest with you. Now, we are seeing out to the west now winter storm warnings going into effect for the weekend for the St. Louis area. A winter storm watch in areas mainly north of Wave Country, but does include Jackson and Jennings counties. Here's the setup. We've got an area of high pressure over us now. It's an Arctic high pressure. Kevin, you and I have talked about this quite a bit. It's going to take some time and some energy for this weekend system to try to displace this Arctic high.
Well, the cold air always wins out. That's what we know in systems like this. And it's heavy. It pushes it down. And what we will continue to see will be this area of low pressure develop over New Mexico, and especially as it gets into Texas. So that is the weather maker that will be rolling in our direction, bringing both, yes, rain and snow. It's that dividing line that is the critical part. And that's going to be somewhat dependent on this high pressure and how much cold air can really just hold tough. And oftentimes that happens. So as we put the maps into motion, we'll show you what's going to at least happen in our opinion. With the weather impacts, this is sort of the timeline. And this hasn't changed a whole lot from what the data we had earlier. it means that everybody starts as snow because the cold air is in place. So Saturday morning, snow is likely across the entire viewing area. With that said, we're going to see a quick accumulation take place. I mean, we could get a quick 1, 2, 3 inches of snow early Saturday. Now, Saturday afternoon, that low pressure is going just to our south, depending on how far north or south it is from the Kentucky-Tennessee line, let's just say, will determine how much warmer air gets pushed up in it. I do think that areas along that Kentucky-Tennessee border stay as rain for most of the duration, and even parts of central Kentucky all the way up to I-64 will have a little rain mixing in or a lull in the action altogether by Saturday afternoon. Now, areas along and north of I-64, all bets are off, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that get pushed a little farther to the south with some heavier snows. By Sunday, we're looking at some snow in the morning hours. So for now, until we can get more data to really kind of grip the track of this, we're going to say that we will transition to a period of rain, and it looks like that happens in the afternoon on Saturday. So the morning is snow, accumulation likely. This is, again, Saturday morning. Then we transition back to that cold rain, or at least mix it in. I wouldn't be surprised to see less rain in our forecast for Louisville tomorrow. And that means the opportunity to see a little more snow. In other words, the cold air may suppress the track a little further to the south. Would not be surprised to see that. We've seen that a number of times.
Yeah, Kevin. So this is going to start as snow. I think we know that for sure. That's the high confidence part of the forecast. The Futurecast here shows us 30 degrees here in Louisville. That's our forecast low at 4 o'clock in the morning. Pretty decent snow falling at that time. 9 o'clock, very similar situation, but you notice the temperatures start to bump up to freezing in southern Kentucky. Then we bump above freezing, at least here on Futurecast during the afternoon. That's the big question. How much cold air is going to get wrapped into this thing? Will the low track shift to the south? Will we see all of this go south by 20, 50 miles? We'll have to see. The latest data is, of course, running now, and we'll get that here over the next several minutes and several hours, including the European model later tonight around 1, 2 a.m. This all starts to wrap up on Sunday. That's been a big question mark. How do we get out of this thing? How does Sunday shape up, and how does that affect Monday morning? Looks like at this point we do go to some lighter snow on Sunday, leaving us with some light freezing drizzle potential, he says, by late Sunday night into early Monday morning, potentially giving us a couple of slick spots in places, Kev.
Well, here's the deal on this. A degree will make a big difference in this forecast, and the track of that low pressure that's moving to our south, a 10, 20-mile difference in that track makes a big difference in where you see these heavier snow bands set up. Here's our first guess at snow. We haven't changed this since earlier. However, by 11 o'clock, as we start to get more data in, I may adjust this a little bit. So tune in. We're going to give the latest forecast. But at this point, I still think, even though it's going to be a decaying or weakening system as it passes to our east, there's still the opportunity for parts of southern Indiana to see 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of snow. Now, the 6, 7, 8-inch part will likely be isolated and not everywhere. And we sort of have to broad brush that on a map. But as we get closer to the Ohio River, 2 to 4 inches of snow certainly looks likely at this point, and areas to our south less. So the idea, if you look at this map, is to not hold us or pin us down on the exact totals on Thursday for what's going to happen Saturday. So we'll be updating this for sure. But the idea is to see that trend, and that is lower amounts to the south because of that rain, the rain mixing in, and then higher totals to our north where we expect it to be mainly snow. A lot of folks asking about travel concerns. Obviously, where you have the heavier snow, you're going to have some travel troubles. Where it snows all day, which could be places like Seymour, North Vernon, parts of Jackson and Jennings County, where you already have that winter storm watch in place, kicks in from midnight Saturday to 7 a.m. on Sunday. That's going to be the zone where we're going to see the most snow and the potential for some travel troubles. Would not be surprised, in fact, fully anticipate that either later tonight or early in the morning, there will be additional counties of ours added to a watch, an advisory, or a warning. So that's probably going to be coming our way. Now, we look at a lot of information, both from the National Weather Service locally and both from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, across the United States. This is from the Weather Prediction Center. They issue when 4, 8, 12 inches of snow would be likely, and you can see their 4-inch plus snow probability map here. And Ryan, we were talking about this earlier today.
Yeah, the Weather Prediction Center, when they issue these maps, they try to figure out the areas that are going to see the most impact at the given thresholds, 4, 8, or 12 inches. You've probably seen these on social media before. We've posted them for years. Now we can show them to you in a way that allows us to see which individual counties are involved with this. And it is a moderate risk of 4-inch plus snowfall north of Louisville, basically anywhere north of the center part of Clark County there. Louisville's in that slight risk. But notice the high risk up in central Indiana starting to nose its way towards some of our northern counties. That's why that winter storm watch is in effect, and that's going to be that high impact snow. That's going to be those areas that stay snow the longest, if not the entire time this weekend. We talked about travel troubles. This is our thinking right now on when travel will be the worst. Saturday morning, hands down, looks like the period when we'll see the most impacts because, one, temperatures will be close to 30 degrees, well below freezing in most spots. We'll see the heavy snow moving in. It gets above freezing Saturday afternoon here in Louisville. At least it's projected to. We're going to see that new data coming in and see how that trends. And then we would see a light rain and snow scenario Saturday night into Sunday. Wouldn't be quite as heavy as the Saturday morning deal here, but we're going to keep it at a yellow light all the way through to Monday. And that's when we'll start to see some of that freezing drizzle potential there in the morning. Things finally improve 100%, though, by Monday afternoon. Kevin, this is your favorite part. It's snow meter.
It is my favorite. Hey, something to have some fun with. We've increased it from a 3 to a 4, and it may go up even higher tomorrow. We have the alert days in place. Instead of just the chatter on Facebook that you've heard about it all week, it's now time to get serious. Some folks are going to need the shovel. Other people, just the windshield wipers. But it looks like it could be one of the at least the most sizable snow we've had so far this winter. That's for sure. And it could go down as one of the larger snows that we've had this winter, meaning looking forward. So we'll see how it works out. That's the snow meter. I also wanted to point out the best time for sledding. With this falling on a Saturday, most of the time the questions are we going to have school tomorrow? And the answer is, well, it's a weekend, of course. But the next best question is, can we go sledding? Can we make a snowman? This is what we call heart attack snow because it's heavy. It's going to be wet. You don't want to get out there and shovel. Listen, if your neighbors are elderly, do them a favor and tell them to stay inside and help take care of their driveways. Fact is, this snow is heavy and wet. With that said, it makes good snowballs, good snowmen, maybe some good sledding. So if you're looking to sled, what's the best time? In southern Indiana, Paoli, Salem, Scottsburg, Seymour, North Vernon, Madison should snow a good chunk of the day. So anytime. To our south, including us here in Louisville, probably during the morning hours. I think in the afternoon, we still see that chance to see a little rain mix in. This is going to be the critical part, finding that line where we may or may not mix with rain. That goes to our south. We'll wind up seeing snow here all day. That's not out of the question. It's only about a 20-mile, 30-mile difference. To our south, it does look like most areas, not going to see a whole lot from, say, Litchfield over to Hodgenville, Greensburg, Campbellsville, Lebanon, Columbia. You're going to wind up with some cold rain mixing in quite a bit. So a slushy mess at best, or just some rain down in the extreme southern part, down toward Columbia. So that's the best time for sledding map that we have across the area.
Yeah, so speaking of fun, we've talked about sledding. Now let's talk about today's Hokie Weather Fact. Now, we present this every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. here on Wave 3 News, so make sure you're watching for that. Freshly fallen snow, the snow that's not compacted on the ground, it just fell from the sky, it hasn't been stepped on, it hasn't been messed with, is made of 90 to 95% air. That's a lot of air, right? Well, here's the deal. For our weekend snow, because it's going to be, as Kevin said, that heart attack snow, it's going to be dense, it's going to be wet, we'll be on the bottom edge of that. So about 90% of it would be considered air based on the latest data from the National Snow and Ice Data Center. Of course, you can find those Hokie Weather Facts on wave3.com. Click weather, and then, of course, click Hokie Weather Facts, Kevin.
That is so hokey.
That's me.
All right, let's talk. Let's have a little chat here. Some folks chiming in, and Ryan, we'll just chat about the weather too. So, one thing that we often hear is, well, you said it was going to snow, but we didn't get as much. Listen, a snow forecast has to be one of the hardest things that we do, especially here in the Ohio Valley, because we do see that variation oftentimes of rain to sleet to snow, and all precip types are really on the table this go round.
They are, Kevin, and it's going to be a disappointment for some, and it's going to be like the best thing ever for snow lovers who happen to get in the zone where the highest amounts of snow are going to be. And that's likely going to be up towards Seymour, but it could be even closer to the river if this latest data coming in bodes well for snow lovers here in Louisville. And we always get, whether or not the forecast goes right or not, there are so many different forecasts out there. And a lot of people are always asking, well, which one is right, which one?
Really? Because I thought there was only one.
There's only one Wave 3 news. But, we don't live in a vacuum here.
It really should be the only one.
It should.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. And in fact, people are always asking, like, is your forecast right? And we're like, well, yeah, because we made it. Our confidence is in it.
That was hilarious. We took a phone call today, and the person wanted to know which forecast was right, ours or another weather company's.
And, of course, our answer is ours, right?
Thanks for calling. Thanks for calling. Anyway. Hey, let's jump in. We've got a few people on Facebook asking about snow. We're not going to get into the specifics. We're way too early for that. In fact, sometimes we even hesitate to put out a snow map this far in advance with this much uncertainty. But it's the day and age of social media. It's being transparent. This is the data that we have. We've put our education to the best use we can and came up with a map, and that's what we think is going to happen as of today. Now, tonight at 11, I'm going to alter that map a little bit. I can already tell you that. And by tomorrow morning, I'm sure Tawana and Brian will come in and change it up a little more. And certainly when we get in the afternoon tomorrow, we're going to change it a little more. So you're going to see some variations in that map. But that's a starting point. That's where we are today, and we'll work from that point forward. Some people saying, I didn't see the map. Can you show that again? Here's the deal. This is all recorded. You'll be able to go back and watch the whole thing if you so desire. All right.
And the map itself is on our Facebook page and on our app as well. If you don't have the Wave 3 News weather app, right now is the time to get it. We post these video updates. They're exclusive to our app every about 12 hours or so. So that gives you freshly updated data and information. And on a day like Saturday, we'll likely do it even more often than that. These push alerts that you get on the phone, the videos exclusive to our app. It is a great time to download it. It's free in your app store. It's so easy.
I want to talk about the 3 waves of precipitation that we'll be tracking. One comes in for Saturday morning. So this is before sunrise. It snows for a good chunk of Saturday across most of the area. That's the biggest accumulating part of the system. All right. It's where we bring that warmer air in that will start to kind of diminish and deteriorate some of the snow to our south. Could be here in Louisville, could stay just to our south. That's what we'll be fine tuning over the next 12 to 24 hours. But that's the first wave of energy, or the first wave of the system that we'll push through. Then we'll see that brief lull. And then another one moves through late Saturday, early Sunday. That should bring some light snow to the area too. That'll be lighter than what we see early Saturday, but could still be enough to foul up some traffic issues early Sunday morning. And then something that's a little more uncertain, and frankly, we've not paid a lot of attention to because of what's happening before that, but will be Monday morning, and the chance for a little bit of light freezing drizzle. Temperatures by Monday morning are going to be in the 20s, low 30s, and we could see some residual moisture left over that gives us some freezing drizzle at that point. And that would also cause a few travel issues early Monday morning. So we've gone ahead and kept the alert day for Saturday, obviously. We added Sunday, and just a word here of precaution, we may add Monday as an alert day because of that potential for the freezing drizzle. Now, we'll talk more about that tomorrow, and certainly look at that data and make that decision either tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon for Monday.
Kevin, I don't think we've had 3 straight alert days in a row since the time that we've initiated these in January of 2018. It's been about a year now.
Yeah, you're right. I know we've had 2, but I don't recall having 3 consecutive days either. And by the way, alert days are just meant. I mean, this was something, and I'll just show you. We have criteria. I mean, if you could see our office, you'd see we surround ourselves with like notes. There are the school districts, by the way, just for plotting purposes. But we have notes of when we declare an alert day. And what that simply should mean for anybody that watches us is that that's a day that the weather may impact your plans. And we do have specific criteria that we created and have looked at over the course of, well, many years, frankly, but over the course of 1 year just in planning it, that says, you know what? Yes, this weather that's going to happen could impact plans. Could be fog, could be slick spots, could be high wind, could be severe weather, you name it. We've thought of it, and we just flag those days as kind of a precaution to those that watch, whether that's online, on digital, on our kind of OTT or over-the-top platforms like Roku or Amazon Fire Sticks or wherever. It seems like we're everywhere these days. Or the big, I mean, we've got over 500 people watching on our app right now. So that's the deal. We're trying to be everywhere we can, sharing the most information we can while making it make sense, digesting it ourselves so we know what is kind of good data and bad data, and then pushing it back out to each of you. So that's sort of our job every day.
Yeah, we're not here to replace the Weather Service. This is a supplement to that so that you guys know when things are going to happen pretty far out. Wanted to address one question that I've gotten at least 3 times now, not only on my Facebook page, Ryan Hoke-Wave 3 News, but also on the comments section of this Facebook Live. What about flights on Saturday morning? A lot of people flying out early. That's a busy day at the Louisville International Airport. I will say this, the Louisville International Airport has a fantastic crew of winter weather folks. They go out, they plow the runways, they treat them. UPS is one of the largest cargo airlines in the world. They operate right here in Louisville with WorldPort. So they service them, and they service also the passenger airlines that fly out of the terminal there. So there may be some delays, can't rule that out. There may be some cancellations, but they're going to try their hardest. And I can guarantee you that no stone will be left unturned by those folks.
I think if you're looking around the area for problems, you look over to St. Louis. They're going to get nailed with this storm. They'll probably have some of the higher totals across the southern half of Missouri. And then that storm will be weakening as it moves to the east. However, places that typically don't get a lot of snow, which we know that so well. Remember just back, was it late November? Or was it in December, where like Asheville and Raleigh-Durham and those areas picked up tremendous amounts of snow?
December 13th, I think.
Okay. So those areas, once again, could see more snow. The mid-Atlantic states are going to get some snow out of this, but some of the bigger hubs may not be affected. Places like Charlotte should be watched. Places like St. Louis should be watched. Chicago should be fine. New York should be fine. Here in Louisville, you know, we don't have a lot coming and going, so they'll be able to keep our runways fairly safe out of this deal. May have some delays, but outside of that, no big problems expected here, despite the fact that we could see some snow.
I think it's interesting, Kevin. This is kind of a big weekend for kids going back to college from winter break.
Interesting.
Down in Danville, Center College going back to school very soon on Monday. And I've gotten some messages from folks, and we've even had folks here on this very Facebook Live ask us, should we leave on Friday, tomorrow, take our kids back to school then, or wait until Sunday? Because obviously Saturday might be out if the weather's going to be active wherever they're traveling from.
Well, the good part is south is the better way to go in this storm. So there's going to be less of an impact off to our south. So you know, either day should probably work fine then. Sunday may be a little bit better. I wouldn't, you know, if you want to get yourself ahead of the storm, that's fine. But Sunday to our south doesn't look to be too huge of a problem around here. If you were going to Indianapolis or to Purdue to our north, that could be a bigger problem presented. You might want to get ahead of the storm in that instance and then get back before that snow occurs, because the heavier snow out of the system is going to be somewhere, you know, the cutoff line is going to be somewhere close to Louisville and to the north.
We have more questions coming in. One of them from Sue Ella Wilson. She's asking, how about temperatures during these waves of snow? Because this is going to be kind of a wet, sloppy snow, Kev.
To keep it wet and sloppy, you have to have temperatures that are very close to freezing or just above even. And that's going to really help the road situation. And you may have already noticed the city's out brining the roads. So they're pre-treating, because that first wave is not going to be rain. It's going to be snow. So they're getting ahead of it. And that's some good news. So they're already doing that tonight. What we'll see will be that temperature fluctuation between anywhere in southern Indiana from 26 to 28 degrees up to 30. And then as you work your way closer to the river, between 30 and 34. So we'll bounce back and forth between freezing and just below. And then areas to our south, let's say 33 to 38 degrees, be above freezing. Now, it can still snow if temperatures are above freezing, but it's going to melt in general, as long as it's not falling all that heavy. And that's what we would expect by Saturday afternoon, is that the intensity of this is going to let up a bit.
A lot of questions in here about individual towns and counties and communities, and that's typically what we expect on one of these Facebook Live videos. What we're going to be doing is posting this video to our website, to our Wave 3 News weather blog. It will be available. We'll post a link to it here, and you'll be able to see all that we discussed. You'll be able to listen to it to your heart's content. We've discussed this for about 30 minutes now. We've also got our Wave 3 News weather app, which has all this information available as well. So, Kevin, we're going to keep folks covered with all of this. You won't have to go far to find the information you're looking for.
More information, as we always say, as we get closer to the event, our forecast gets a little more precise. We're scheduled to be on a conference call with the National Weather Service tomorrow at 2:30. We'll give their thoughts then. We'll add our thoughts to that as well. And we'll see how close we are. Snow forecasts are interesting. I mean, we can all look at the same data and come up with a million different forecasts on what's going to happen. And it really is all about pinpointing where that transition zone will be. And that is oftentimes very tough to do. So that's what we'll work all day tomorrow on for our Saturday forecast. And then, of course, we'll be here through that event as well, Saturday morning and then into Saturday afternoon. So this is the time of season, so to speak, or an event, if you will, where we don't get a lot of sleep because we're hanging on the edge of our seats to see all the latest data coming in, just to see, whoa, where is it? What's it going to do? And consequently, then Twitter sort of throws up in everybody's face with a bunch of data.
We're like inverse honey bears, Kevin. We don't hibernate in the middle of the winter. We're awake the entire time because it's snowing at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Did you call me a honey bear or a honey badger?
Whatever you heard is what you heard.
I think you said bear. I'm hoping.
Honey bear, an inverse honey bear. That's the name of this episode. If we had to have a name of the episode of this hangout here, right? Okay. Inverse honey bear.
This is something, by the way, this is only our second time to do the hangout, and it's a little less sort of wowish with just the two of us, because actually we are sitting right beside each other, and that's why some people are hearing the echo. I'm trying to keep it over here. But what this allows for is if any of our team is up and available to jump in, they get the alert and they can jump in from anywhere, and we can do this from anywhere we're located. We have a phone in our hands. So that's the fun part about it. And tomorrow we will make sure that everybody has the opportunity to participate. We were going to do this tomorrow, and we said, you know what, let's go ahead and jump on tonight, give everybody the info that we have, and then we'll do a more complete one in here for tomorrow afternoon. So probably around 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. And then again in the evening, we'll jump back on to kind of give the latest thinking on our forecast. And of course, tonight at 11 o'clock, we'll be, that's 9:30. So we've got some new data in now. We'll analyze that and be able to kind of fine tune the forecast. You'll see that attached to the link that we'll post on the blog and on the social media pages.
Yes, indeed, Kevin. So make sure that you guys are able to see this in its entirety. We're going to get off of here in just a second. We've appreciated all of your questions this evening on Facebook Live. It's been a tremendous sort of experience to get the two-way communication here going, and you'll be able to see, of course, this video in its entirety on our app, on our blog coming up here shortly. So, Kevin, do we have any further comments from folks here, or are we going to wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up for now. And I'll leave you with the thought of stay close to the forecast. We say that in so many things that we do. It's because sometimes we'll throw out that snow map, and that's what everybody wants, but they can't hold on to that one. You're going to have to, it's sort of like a bobber in the water, if you will. It's just you have to work with us through the next 12 to 24 hours as we make those changes. And we'll see if we wind up in that heavier snow band. I mean, from the little bit of data, and I've only seen a couple of pieces of data roll in the last half hour here, we may very well be moving the heavier snow band a little bit farther to the south. Now, I'm not just teasing people that want the snow. I'm just saying that's what that little bit of data is pointing to. We have a lot more to go through for tonight, and then we'll make our final forecast. But this is by no means set in stone at this point. What I do speak with confidence on is that the heavier totals are going to be across the northern part of our viewing area, and the lower totals are going to be to the south. Now, putting a number on that is what we'll be fine-tuning over the next 12, 24 hours.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this evening. Make sure that you get on the Wave 3 weather blog here in about 30 minutes. If you missed anything in here, we'll have that whole video up by about 10:15 this evening. Kevin is going to be on Wave 3 News at 11. He's going to be sharing with you that latest data coming in from the North American Mesoscale model, the GFS, and a whole lot of other data coming in. We're going to put together a brand new forecast, and you'll get to see it there.
We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock. Have a great night, everybody. See you back here tomorrow as well. Somewhere around 3:30 we'll be on, and then again tomorrow evening, probably around this time. Have a good night.
See you guys.